corruption in boxing here. Going to do a quick preview stroke prediction of an eagerly anticipated bout taking place in Russia as part of the World Series of Boxing Cruiserweight division. The second semi-final is between Murat Gassiev, the current IBF world champion, an undefeated fighter, the Iron Man from Mother Russia, taking on existing WBA regular champion and also an undefeated fighter, Yunier Dorticos, the Cubanan Candyman. Two heavy-handed explosive punchers, extremely large athletes at that cruiserweight 200-pound weight category. I think both of them are 6'3" plus. Dorticos has an extraordinarily long sort of reach as well. So two undefeated fighters, two world champions, unification. Somebody's O has to go, and in the process somebody's jaw or ribs will probably go as well. Now let's break down this fight. I've got Murat Gassiev by knockout stroke stoppage victory. The younger fighter, I think he's fundamentally the better fighter. He's very sound, has a very good guard, tight guard. His chin is tucked in, so you're only really going to hit the top of his head. Conversely, Dorticos, he's defensive, he's extremely porous. As the rounds progress, his right hand drops and drops until eventually his chin is just out in the open. When he operates on the back foot, he'll pull out in straight lines. His chin is quite high in the air, exposed. He's just got a target sign on it. Now, a lot of people are talking about Dorticos' patented knockout power. It certainly was evident when he progressed to the semi-final after knocking out a Russian slugger, Dmitry Kudryashov, in the second round, fight taking place in Texas, I believe. Dorticos landing a heat-sinking right hand high on Kudryashov's, on his left side of his head, just depleting everything out of him. Kudryashov, an uncoordinated athlete, doesn't really have the footwork. Didn't even realize that Dorticos had navigated 270 degrees to his left, so he's firing out a weak sort of straight left hand, which wasn't even remotely near his opponent's head. So Dorticos just had a clear visible sight. The left hand side of his body was able to fire that missile-like right hand without even Kudryashov seeing the punch. But credit to him, he landed it with perfection, accurate, and that was it for Dmitry Kudryashov. Now, Murat Gassiev progressed to the semi-final when he stopped former world champion Wlodarczyk from Poland. Now, Wlodarczyk had never been stopped before, but he was a shot fighter. He was at least 5 years past his best. So I'm not sure how much he had left, but Gassiev did what he had to do. He took him out early, find a great combination, an educated left hand, worked the body and the head simultaneously, and that took out Wlodarczyk, who capitulated. I think he could have got up, but he didn't get up, so that was it. Now the problem with Yunier Dorticos I have is his power. I have some reservations as to whether it's legit, whether he truly is heavy-handed. He had a great deal of problems in a previous fight against Yuri Kalangier from France. Dorticos was dropped. He was hurt several times. He was behind the cards, maybe 3-4 points. He needed a knockout to win the fight. Given that the fight was in France against the home fighter, you would think that the judges would probably go to Kalangier if it had been a close fight. But credit to Dorticos, he kept persevering with that right hand. It reminds me a little bit of the former super featherweight world champion from Japan, Takashi Miura, who recently retired. He too would persevere with that club-like left hand. He didn't really have too much dimensions to his offensive ability. He would fire a good right hook to the body, a good right hand jab, but the the weapon of choice was definitely his left hand. More often than not, the opponents would know it's forthcoming. Sometimes they'll be futile to stopping it, but quite often not, he would punch through the guards. It really was a debilitating punch, and it contributed to several stoppage knockout victories. But the main issue I have is that Dorticos was unable to put away a blown up super middleweight in Edison Miranda. A fighter back at super middleweight was stopped by both Jermaine Taylor and Kelly Pavlik, well over a decade ago. Back then, Miranda was a shredded, conditioned athlete with a fantastic physique, and even Andre Ward complimented Miranda after they'd fought, alluding to his durability, his toughness. And that durability was evident when Miranda challenged the Dorticos at a much heavier weight category. His physique wasn't there, but it ballooned up in weight. It wasn't really a competitive fight. Dorticos was the better fighter throughout, probably won every round as well, but he was unable to inflict that telling blow, was unable to put away Miranda, and that really did open my eyes. You certainly wouldn't expect a shot fighter to last the distance against a patented heavy-handed Cuban fighter, taller, rangier, but Miranda certainly turned back the clock. Now the other issues I have with Dorticos, as I mentioned, is his defense. I think he's extremely porous. Quite often than not, he will rather engage and not pay attention to his defense, and that will leave him to counter-punching. And Murat Gassiev, when he's marching prodigiously sort of forward, he does have the ability to counter-punch on the front foot. And that was certainly evident against Denis Lebedev when Gassiev defeated him, taking his IBF belt. But for whatever reason, Denis Lebedev kept the WBA Super World Championship. Gassiev exemplified, just his brutality with that left hand, counter-punching on the fly as well, landing that left-handed. It dropped Denis Lebedev, hurt him quite badly. But Gassiev was unable to put away with Lebedev, and his critics may say, well, Lebedev is a veteran, why couldn't he have put him away? But Lebedev is also an increasingly tough athlete. No one's been able to knock him out. And his lateral movement did cause problems to quite a sort of a rugged, a raw Murat Gassiev. He's still very much on the learning curve, improving with every fight. But a very close fight. Some people edged it for Lebedev. Maybe Murat Gassiev definitely landed the heavier shots, dropped his opponent as well. So, in addition, he was on the front foot, stalking down his opponent. So, it's no surprise that the judges, preferred his methodology. His heavy-handed, his effective aggression throughout the fight. So this particular fight, I think it's going to break down. I think Dorticos is going to be on the back foot initially, but very, very quickly it's going to manifest into a slugfest. Dorticos is going to try and command the center of the ring. He's going to try and knock out his opponent. That kill or be killed attitude. You have to applaud him. He's positive. He puts it all out on the line, but it could be to his detriment. I think he's going to be susceptible to counter punching. I see Murat Gassiev inflicting a lot of damage with his, with his educated left hand. He'll work the body, work the head. He'll hook up top. I think he'll be able to block and parry a lot of Dorticos' right hands. Gassiev is not just a slugger. He likes to vary the speed and power of his right hand, his jab as well. So he'll within his power shots, he'll combine it with some touch shots, and that generally opens up opportunities for counter punching. Opponents may drop their hands, etc. So he'll set little ambush tactics. So I think he's got better dimensions to his game. I think he's got the better chin as well. Lebedev cracked him with some mean left-handers up top, which he absorbed them. He dealt with the power well. I think it's his balance, extremely balanced, both defensively when he's taking punches, so he has that foundation, but the balance allows him to walk and punch on the fly. Dorticos, conversely, is not the most skilled in terms of balanced athlete, loading up on his punches. His knee is well ahead of his head. The knee will tilt as well when he's throwing the right hand. It'll almost come onto the side of his foot. Looks a little bit ragged, unbalanced. I'm not sure whether that is contributing to his punching power. I think if he was a better balanced athlete, he'd get better trajectory into his punches, maybe even better velocity as well. So I think that's another deficiency he has to his game. But I could be wrong. Dorticos, could knock him out. But I've analysed this fight carefully. I'm going to go with Murat Gassiev by knockout stoppage, definitely within the distance. Really looking forward to the fight. God knows where it's being televised. That's one criticism I've got of the World Series of Boxing, certainly for the guys in the United States, but over in the UK I think it's been televised on ITV. Could be on their box office or ITV4, but those of us in Europe, I'm not sure how the hell we're going to watch the fight. So corruption in boxing, those are my thoughts. Let me know on how you see the fight progressing, and who you got for the fight as well. So put them down in the comments, and I'll give you guys a post-fight breakdown. So enjoy the fight, and sayonara.